Good afternoon, Keith Tebow from FRCmedia. Thank you for joining us today. As we head into the beginning of the new year and January, a lot of focus actually gets toward, some of the events that we've been accustomed to here in Greater Fall River for quite some time. And for quite some time, the city of Fall River, on a number of occasions, have really done a lot to celebrate the life and the accomplishments of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His holiday celebration is coming up very soon. Bristol Community College has been holding an event for over 20 years now, and we're going to talk about the latest iteration of the event to celebrate Dr. King. I'm pleased to be joined today by Bristol Community College's Director of Multicultural Affairs, Rob Delaleu. Rob, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Thanks. I'm doing well, thank you. Talk a little bit about what the college has done in the past. I believe it's been over 20 years now that the college has celebrated the life and the accomplishments of Dr. King. What has it done in the past, and I guess what are the plans for 2021?
Yeah. So thanks for having me. And our college has been doing this now for 21 years. It was initiated by Dr. Jack Sprague, who thought that having a community service event or a community event at the time, a breakfast to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, was vital and important for Bristol Community College to have, and also to bring to our local community. Since that time, it's evolved into an event which has been well attended by the community. Some years better than not. And a few years ago, I was tasked to kind of research and add a little bit a different perspective to the event. And we since then have turned this into not just a community breakfast, but we turn it to a day of service event, which involves many of our community constituents, partners, families from around the region and Bristol County. And it's been a pleasure to see it grow.
I would think that with the pandemic still, gripping most of us, all of us across the country and around the world, the traditional breakfast part will not happen this year. So, how will this event be handled in 2021? I would guess it'd be a virtual event.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we can't all get together due to COVID restrictions, and we want to make sure that our community and all of our families are safe and sound. So we don't want to bring the breakfast where people are in danger. So we are going to do a virtual event through Zoom. The event will still have our almost similar lineup that we normally will have. You'll have conversation. You'll have introduction from myself and President Douglas, who really supports this event, and we will also have our keynote speaker, Dr. David E. Jones, and we'll also have some workshops after the event, after the 1 hour program, and then we'll go from there. So minus the breakfast, which is a bummer, but we'll still be in the spirit of service and celebrating the legacy of Dr. King.
Now, in terms of the day of service and the workshops around it, I would think that this was always very important to Dr. King, to giving back. Obviously, he was a leader on many aspects of the civil rights movement and in other areas. And is this sort of a reflection from what he gave us as a country in terms of having us give back toward the greater good to make all Americans feel welcomed and feeling a part of our democracy?
Absolutely. The idea that I had a few years ago was to say, well, how can we infuse the community to really give back? And, at Bristol, we have a lot of talented individuals, practitioners who have done some great things throughout their career. And this was an opportunity to highlight some of that where, obviously on MLK Day, it's a day off for many of our professionals in higher education and secondary education and beyond. And one thing that I wanted to do is say, well, how can we take some of these talents and merge it into this event where people are giving back to the community for free? So last year we had like basketball clinics where our coaching staff from the men's and women's basketball teams really, they did a free clinic, and we had like over 100 youth and kids from the region attend. We did a MLK teaching, which was hosted by Dr. Ron Weisberger, who's really involved in the community in the Holocaust Center. We had financial literacy that was done by former alumni of Bristol Community College. We had dual enrollment info sessions for students to really understand, especially from our minority population, our BIPOC population, to say, well, wow, I can take advantage of dual enrollment. And we had professionals speak about the importance of that. And there were just, the list goes on and on, arts and crafts and vision boards and, Christian McCloskey from the city of Fall River, him and his group really united as well, the mayor's office. And it was just a collaboration of all of that. And then anyone who attended was able to do this for free. And so getting a lot of important information and doing that really was my goal and idea. And it's starting to come, and it really, really worked the last couple of years. And this year we're going to do the same. It's going to be virtual. There'll be a couple of workshops. It won't be as robust as it is in the years past. But we hope to continue to make sure that happens next year. But this year's program is going to be fantastic as well, as we have some great people, working and prepared to do these tasks.
So what are some of the workshops that are planned? What can people expect if they're going to take part? And we'll talk about how they can take part in a moment.
Yeah. So some of the workshops that are in play right now is, one, our keynote speaker is Dr. David E. Jones. His theme that we're speaking about is service and social justice. Well, how service can impact social justice. So our one key workshop will be on the focus of that. And so what would happen is, after the keynote, they will have an opportunity to go into these virtual workshops where we're talking about how you can provide service in order to impact social justice. For instance, next semester at Bristol, we are going to host social justice forums that will focus on the impact of the Black, African American, and Hispanic male populations, and how we can better serve them in order for them to be successful within the classroom and outside the classroom in our region and area. So this is something that is extremely important, and a lot of our workshops will focus on it. We also will have an MLK reading workshop, and we also have resources that will be provided for our live audience, who can kind of click on them and see how they can donate things, how they can, participate in service, and then also what they can do throughout the course of the year, not just for that day. Although it is a National Day of Service on MLK Day, we wanted to provide opportunities for people to see, well, how can they impact and help? Because a lot of times we just don't know what to do. So this is a great opportunity to give us that to give people that pathway in order to help and provide for our communities.
Yeah, let me ask you. We hear a lot during this time of year around the celebration of the holiday for Dr. King, the importance of community service, and many times, there's a lot of enthusiasm around that day, and then it starts to wane a little bit. How can we, as and maybe talk a little bit about what the college is doing to try to foster this attitude of giving back and making our country a better place to live, just beyond one day or one stretch of time, to have this process to be continual?
Yeah, part of my goal, just in my role and just for me as a person, our country has gone through a ton of adversity, and it's really wounded right now. And how do we begin this healing process? I don't think that we're so divided, and I don't think it's because we're just pure evil and hate. I mean, obviously there are people that are out there that are that way, but for the majority of us, we're not. I think we do have differences. And so how do we unify, and come together as a collective group in order to do that and sustain that over a long period of time? And I think, creating opportunities to do that happens by looking at things that maybe we are a little uncomfortable of, but to have these conversations where you're in a safe space, providing, opportunities of seeing how we can explore things that are a little bit different than we are, because we are always a little bit comfortable in our own, homes or our own professionalism and professional selves, that we are very, very comfortable with that. But we want to provide an opportunity to kind of really get us to look at the differences that are out there. So I'm providing more information daily on how our communities can be involved. And that'll be through social media, that'll be through our leadership programs, that'll be through our social justice forums. There's ways that we can kind of say, well, how our college, we're a community college, our middle name is community. How can we tie the community to our college in order to provide for everyone, not just for the students who are attending? Obviously, that's our priority focus, but we also want to make sure that our community is one and the same with Bristol Community College. And since I've been there at the school, that's what I've preached in my time as a coach to the Multicultural Center, to Multicultural Affairs. I'm now in an SSEM leadership role. These are all pieces that I think if we all have this vision that we can do that, then I think barriers will start to break, and before we even know it, and start to really unify who we are. So it's a tall task, but we need to do it day by day. But like I said, it shouldn't just be one event where you attend that event, and as you attend that event, it's over and done, and then you don't think about it again until the following year. My vision and mission is to make sure that we are doing this daily, and that we're focused daily on these goals, and that we have places that we can turn to as people to learn more and more and come together.
Yeah. So as we head toward the event this year, how can people take part? I believe, as the breakfast had been, it's open to the entire community. So how can people get involved? Are there any potential limits to people being involved?
There is no potential limits. One thing that I always offer is if they're doing things, you can always contact me if you want to be part of these events moving forward, because we do have, let's say this year's MLK breakfast and virtual event may be too late for you to do a workshop or something. But in the future, if you want to be part of that, please reach out to me. But however, there are ways that anyone can sign up. It's open to the public, it's open to community. You can look at our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter page. You can go to the Bristol website and go to bristolcc.edu/MLK, and they'll give you information there to participate in what things that are live and happening, and resources. All the things that we will mention during the event will also be on there for people who are not able to attend. We do have a social justice newsletter that you can also register and sign up for and subscribe to, and we will send you information there daily as well that will help you grow exponentially as leaders and practitioners and people who want to help. So those are opportunities as well, and those links will be provided, and hopefully we can send those out to anyone who's interested.
Well, this event has always been something special that has been our tradition at Bristol Community College, and thanks to your leadership, it continues even in the face of the restrictions that we're facing because of the pandemic. Rob Delaleu from Bristol Community College, Director of Multicultural Affairs. Thank you for joining me. All the best with the event coming up, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Keith, and God bless everyone, and let's come together on January 18th. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today here on FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great day.